what you are able to accomplish within your time frame. It is expensive. It's the most expensive currency on the face of the earth. Time. It's irreplaceable. It cannot be recreated. Scientists have no solution to it. You can't buy it. And when you realize it is so expensive, then you would realize that you must look at yourself and find the best way to get the most out of time. When you look at yourself and look at what your strengths are, you must accept your weaknesses and not spend them and not waste a lot of your time trying to prove yourself in areas of your weaknesses. Accept your weaknesses. Use your strengths to your advantage. Delegate your weaknesses to those that have strengths in your weakness. And therefore achieve more within the time that you have. A leader is nothing but a man or a woman that knows how to use the best people for the best assignment within the best time frame. He takes the credit as the leader of the team. But the actual work has been done by the people that have allowed to apply their strengths, to apply themselves in the areas of their strengths, to the benefit of the group or of the team. Time is expensive. Managing it is our responsibility and our task. Another thing about our fear of time is that it actually stops us from moving forward. There are many people that have a fear of the future. And because they have a fear of the future, they become a slave of today. Abraham Lincoln says the best thing about the future is that it only comes one day at a time. Take each day as it comes. And that task that looks so big and so huge, and that looks like it's about to drown you, begins to fall apart before you. You need to plan. You need to be organized. You need to approach whatever is before you, knowing that as you go after it on a day-to-day basis, you can only move forward. You know, no matter how big a rock is, if you start to chip at it a little at a time and continue to, it will break. Ultimately, it will. We've got to look at time for what it is. A limited currency handed to us only for a season. And spending it is what determines whether we achieve. Or the way we spend it is what determines whether we achieve or not. There's a gentleman called Victor Hugo, and he has this to say: "He who every morning plans the transaction of the day and follows out that plan carries a thread that will guide him through the labyrinth of the most busy life. But where no plan is laid, where the disposal of time is surrounded merely to the chance of incident, chaos will reign. It takes time to build a corporate work of art. It takes time to build a life. And it takes time to develop and grow. So give yourself, your enterprise, your family, the time they deserve and the time they require. Remember, your life is not consisted in only one section of it. So don't invest all of your time in only one area of it. Make sure that every section of your life, whether it's yourself, your enterprise, your family, they deserve a portion of your time. And give to each section of your life the required and the appropriate time that will help you to end up with a balanced life and add value to your life.
The worst ways, or the other ways that we misuse time, is by doing things that we need not do at all. Brian Tracy says one of the very worst uses of time is to do something very well that did not be done at all. Think about it. If you're a man who does not like to delegate, if you're a man or a woman in business who cannot trust others to represent you or to do things for you, you would end up being the secretary, you would end up being the typist, you would end up being the postman or the mailman in your office, you end up being the one that makes your tea, you make your coffee. You know, the things that you don't necessarily have to do, no matter how well you do them, you will end up being there doing it. Sometimes because we want to save money. What we can employ, like you could employ a driver to go and pick your children in the afternoon. You can afford or make a sacrifice to employ that driver so that you can make a better use of your time. And you're the one that goes out every afternoon and gets caught in traffic, and a process that no matter how long it takes the driver, you could use that same time to achieve more. You could have 4 or 5 hours of your day lost in that process because you have taken upon yourself something that you could easily delegate to another. We have to learn to find strengths around us and use them for the purpose. And some of the times it's actually totally negative things. A man that spends time with a mistress as opposed to spending that time with his wife, no matter how good he is with that mistress, he has wasted a portion of his lifetime. Because that portion of time would have gone a long way into investing in his relationship with his family. Relationships are generally built on the amount of time that is invested in it. The amount of time that we spend with people can only bring us closer and help us to forge a bridge of closeness. The value of a relationship is in direct proportion to the time that we invest in the relationship. Whether it's with our wives, or with our husbands, or with our children, or with our friends, or with our colleagues. Time is a currency that we must spend in building relationships. And we determine just how the direction of a relationship goes, depending on how much time we're willing to invest in it. Time management itself is taking control of the sequence of events. Control over what we do now, control over what we do next, control over the order that we do things. We're always free to choose the task that we will do next. Our ability to choose between the important and the unimportant is the key determinant of our success in life and work. We will always be faced with those decisions, choosing between what we consider important or not. Learning to say no, learning to make the right choices in terms of how we use our time will determine the quality of life that we have and the level of accomplishment that we're able to attain. The law of forced efficiency says there is never enough time to do anything. There's never enough time to do everything. But there's always enough time to do the most important things to us. So, Never worry yourself about the fact that, oh, I'm not able to do everything around me. I'm not able to do everything I want to do. It's impossible. But the key thing is, everything that you consider important, you will do. And your responsibility is to make sure that the things that are considered the most important in your life. Now, the problem comes when your order of priority is wrong. The problem comes when you choose the wrong things as more important than the right things. The problem comes when you cannot rightly determine what is valuable to you or not. And therefore you assign the time wrongly. But our ability or our potential to achieve is a function of our ability to prioritize our lives and to make the things that are important the ones that we assign the most of our time to. Because time is expensive and is limited. And no matter how much we want to do, you can't extend it. You cannot extend it. It's got a finite tendency. When it ends, it ends. When the day is over, the day is over. Nothing you can do about it. Another day begins. Never mind that it flows into each other. And the fact that you decide to cross from one to the other without stopping does not change the fact that you already finished spending the 24 hours of the day. You're already in another day. It's not the same day just because you are awake between 12 and 1. Your age cannot be changed by the fact that you look young. You're 40, you're 40. You're 50, you're 70, you're 70. Never mind that you might look 50. Time will go.
You can get your time and your life under control only to the degree to which you discontinue lower value activities. You will always have to rate the things you do and determine which is important to you. You're going to choose between going to church and going to a party. It's a function of what's important to you. If your spiritual development is important to you, you're going to choose to go to church. If socializing and networking is the most important to you and not the network that you think God can generate for you, then you're going to have to go to the party. It's a function of what's important. If pleasing some high-powered man is more important than being with your daughter on her birthday, you're going to have to make a choice. Every day of our lives, we're going to have to determine what is most important. And there's some inconsequential things that we spend time doing. But we can do without. You are the one that knows what those things are in your life. Make an assessment. Evaluate your day. Evaluate your week. Think of what you do over the weekend. See what you do with your spare time. Ask yourself what you actually do on public holidays. We've got one coming soon. And determine if you are spending your most expensive currency on the most important or less important things. One of the keys to high levels of performance and productivity is for you to make every minute count. Use travel and transition time, what are often called gifts of time, to complete small chunks of larger tasks, says Brian Tracy. You know, especially in a city like Lagos, we have a lot of dead time. There you are. 4 hours in traffic. 3 hours in traffic. 2 hours in traffic. Time that is irredeemable. What do? Sit in it? Sleep? Just watch the orange sellers or all the drama on the street? Or do you make tangible use of it? Doing important things that can give you value for the time that you have found you're stuck in a particular place. We have to be innovative. We have to be skillful. We have to think of ways
to get the most out of our most expensive currency. For each one of us, it will be different. It's our call, depending on what our goals are. Remember, time waits for no one. Make the most of it, and you'll find your life fulfilled and accomplished. Have a nice day.